So, quite a few years ago, the internet gods decided to give me a gift, and they let me into the Starlink beta program. I was one of the first 100 people in the world to get their hands on Starlink. And the minute it came through my door, I thought about one thing. How could I create an off grid system that was fairly portable that I could bring with me camping and hiking, even? So I started on a quest, and maybe you've seen some of my videos where I tested out a couple different battery solutions, everything from a cobbled together homemade solution, from a golf cart battery, on up to battery packs that you can put the Starlink Mini in particular in a backpack in one of these little battery packs and power it for a few hours. And then also solutions that you could take for like car camping, van camping, RV, or trailers. But the thing about that last category was, yeah, it's good, but it only runs for as long as you have the battery going. But the good thing with the advent of solar generators is that you can now hook up solar panels to them and you can charge them while they are powering your Starlink, for example. So even when it got to that point, I still felt the need to carry one, two, three different batteries, one I could charge my phone with and all my devices. There just never seemed to be enough ports. But then I found what I believe is probably the most perfect Starlink Mini power device that's on the marketplace if you are a camper, van camper, car camper, or anything like that. I'm not saying this is the solution for backpacking because it's a little heavy, but it's pretty darn good. And this is the Anker C300 DC. Before we go on, I'm not sponsored by Anker. I wish I was. I wish I was getting paid for this, but I'm not. Purchased this with my own money, been using it for the last 3 years, I believe. All links to this and any of the stuff I talk about will be down below. They are affiliate links. It does help your boy out. YouTube don't pay us humans nearly enough anymore. It doesn't cost you a thing, and I get a small incy pence out of it, but it helps to keep the wheels on. So nonetheless, the Anker C300 DC is a really good mix in terms of form factor and in terms of the amount of ports and features that it does have. So first off, let's talk about this form factor. I really like the decision they made here to make it taller versus wider. Because if you are that type of camper or car camper, it's not just about weight, it's also about space. And I like products that take advantage of the vertical space, not just the horizontal space. And most solar generators you're going to find on the marketplace, they're going to be wider than they are tall. So this carrying can handle is really nice. Slide it right down into the perfect spot. It also has a lantern on top, which is pretty cool as well. It's always good to have light in camp, especially if you're a tent camper. You could just bring this. I like products that can serve more than just one purpose out there. Now, in terms of what makes this special, there's a couple things here. First and foremost, we've got 4 USB ports. Now, these two are 140 watt output and input. So it's called bi-directional. The next one is just output at 100 watts. And then right here, we have a 20 watt output only. The reason I draw attention to these bi-directional ports is because when you're at home and you're charging this thing, if you have, let's say, a power supply or a wall wart that's like 400 watts, for example, you can plug one USB-C into here and the other into here, combining for a 280 watt power source in. So you can bring this from 0 to 80% in like, I don't know, a little under an hour, and then to 100% about an hour and 15. And you want to make sure when you're doing that, you have cords here, again, linked down below, that are USB-C to USB-C to your power source that needs to be pretty hefty, right? At least 280 watts, 300 watts, 400 watts, probably better. And those cords need to be able to carry at least 200 watts each. This is really cool because when I'm camping, getting the trailer ready, getting my boat ready, getting the fishing stuff ready, even if it's at 0%, I come in, plug these two things here in at the same time. It takes well over an hour to get ready. By that time, this thing is fully charged. So the fast charging by these two ports is really rad. Now, you could use any one of these ports to power your Starlink. I tend to use the more powerful ones. I also have a cord down below here. Let me grab it. You're going to need this as well. Now, this is for the Starlink Mini. So this is, I don't know about the other ones, but there are other cords out there that will work. But you just want to make sure that you have one that's USB-C. This will go to your power supply. And then one right here that's a barrel port that's going to go in to your Starlink. Now, the reason I like this company in particular, because this has the flanges in there and everything to make it waterproof. So this cord is weather sealed, waterproof, which is a really good thing, especially if you're out there camping. So the other thing that makes this really special is because it's a solar generator, it also has a solar charger on board that's using the most modern technology, fast charging technology. Now that solar charger is going to make it safe to plug into a solar panel. Now the great thing about this as well is it has a port here that is a XT60. Now this can take up to 100 watts, up to 27 volts, and you plug this into, in my case, a 100-watt solar panel. I'm going to get in full sun between 70 watts and 80 watts into this. Now, if you're new to all this, a solar panel, even though it says 100 watts, even in direct sunlight, you're never going to get 100 watts. There's some efficiency loss there. They're going to tell you that it's 10%, 12%. It's more like 20% to be safe. So my max is about 80, and I typically honestly get about 70 watts, 75 watts in full sun. But the cool thing about the solar charger and this unit in particular is it can also output as it is charging. So if we're looking at plugging in, let's say my Starlink Mini, that runs about 15 to 20 watts on average in use. Now it takes more to start it up, right? So 140 watts is plenty, but when it's working and when it's at idle even, it's between 15 and 20 watts, which means even if I didn't replace the energy in here via a solar panel, I could let this run between 10 and 15 hours. There's some variables there, but I've noticed that I can at least get on average probably 12 hours without replacing the energy. But because we have that solar charger in here and we're able to do that, it's going to be a net positive, which means I can plug in my other devices because I have a whole bunch of other options, to include the USB-C-A's right here and this right here, which is 120 watts, which is your DC, or what we used to call cigarette lighter port. So there's a lot of different options, and that solar panel coming in has just been a game changer. To give you an idea, even if I have partly sunny skies, I'm still bringing in like 30 to 40, which is double what this usually takes to run the Starlink. So it's always going to keep it capped off. And in most cases, it's a lot better than that. It's like 50, 60. It typically stays at 100% if there's sun in the sky. And then I go to sleep, right? This thing runs when it goes dark, 10 hours, whatever it may be. It drops it down from 100 down to, 30, maybe 20. And yeah, it's good to go. The sun comes up and then, 2 hours, 3 hours later, this thing's fully back to 100. So I don't have to swap it out. I just leave it. I do move the solar panel throughout the day, depending if I need it or not. And if I'm away from camp, I turn it off and I don't care. But this is the single device that I take. And oh yeah, because it's bringing in all that during the day, if I need to charge my GoPro, my drone, or my camera, I can do it right on here. So having the dual use of the light, having all these ports that I can manipulate and charge all my devices with just this guy, that's awesome. Yeah, sure, it's a little over 6 pounds, but it's not really that bad when it's in your hand, and the form factor just wins me over, and all the features. I do think this was a smart thing. Now, one of the last things is kind of a dig, but it's also kind of a positive, because you can use their mobile app to connect to this. Now it's going to tell you stats, how much input, how much output. It's going to tell you the temperature of the battery, which is nice to monitor. You can also set it to go to sleep after a couple hours. So typically what I'll do is when it's dark, I'll set it for 4 hours and it will just put it in the sleep mode, but you can't turn it all the way off. I would like something that I could turn it off, or I can push a button, not just a sleep timer, but push a button to put it in sleep. And then hopefully it just draws minimal power to run that Bluetooth to have wake capabilities. So Anker, I don't think you have it. If I'm wrong, please let me know, but I would recommend doing that in the next version. Now, here's the good thing about this. Oh, before we go on, this cord is super important. This is like a dongle that I found. I have another version too that on this end has like USB-C, but it has that XT60 cord, and that plugs in right here to this. And then I use one of these to plug into my different battery, or to my different solar panels. Now this one is pretty universal. Most of them run decent sized solar panel is going to have some type of barrel port, but sometimes they have USB-C or some of these other different connectors or different size barrel ports. So this is a really cool dongle that I'll have linked down below as well. But on to the good part. This right here, the C300 is on sale right now for, I believe it's $179. It originally retailed for $279, but it seems to always stay on sale for $179. I will say last Prime Day, last summer, I picked this up for $149, which is a screaming deal. And if it goes down to $149, I'll probably get it. But if I didn't have it, I'd buy it all day long at $179. Now there's a lower model, the C200, I believe. That's like $129. I don't have any experience with that. It's a little bit lighter. It's 192 watt hours versus 288. So I don't know how that plays out, but this just seems to be the perfect mix. I don't have that battery anxiety of this thing running out on me even at the nighttime. So if you're interested, again, I'll have the links down below. Tell me what you guys are using too. In the comments, let me know what systems you've come up with, what solar panels you're using, what batteries, what you prefer. Again, this is more for the tent camping. I do have another video, you can check it out down below as well, where I offer some options if you're on foot, like on a backpack, and you want to carry this in. That'll give you a couple hours, either for safety or just because you want to do some Netflix when you're out there in Yellowstone National Park in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Hey, don't Joan. I've done it, man. I'm a high-tech redneck. I love it. I love it. Anyways, if you would also please consider liking and subscribing. My name's Hill Phantom. I'll see you next time.